Master Instructor Vorn AK had trained warriors for 40 cycles. His species, the Droken, were born fighters, 2.8 meters of dense muscle, armored hide, and reflexes honed by millennia of evolution on a high-gravity world. He'd never lost a sparring match. Not once. So when Cadet Jackson Miller stepped onto the training mat, Vorn AK couldn't help the rumbling laugh that escaped his throat. "This is the human?" he asked Commandant Velshaw, his translator barely containing his amusement. The kid was maybe 1.8 meters tall, couldn't have weighed more than 80 kilograms, and looked like a stiff breeze might snap him in half. "That's correct, Master Instructor," Velshaw confirmed, her tentacles curling with what might have been concern. "Cadet Miller has requested combat certification. Protocol requires he spar with you." Vorn AK's laugh deepened. "This will be the shortest certification in Academy history." Around the training hall, cadets from a dozen species gathered to watch. Most wore expressions of pity. A few looked away, unwilling to witness what they assumed would be a massacre. Combat certification required lasting 3 minutes against the Master Instructor. Most species struggled to last 30 seconds. Jackson stood at ease on the mat, his expression neutral, hands loose at his sides. He wore standard training gear, no armor, no enhancements, nothing but cloth and determination. "Human," Vorn AK addressed him, moving to the center of the mat with the confidence of someone who'd never been challenged. "I will try not to hurt you badly. Perhaps you should reconsider." "Timer starts when you're ready, sir," Jackson interrupted politely. Something flickered across Vorn AK's features, annoyance at being cut off, perhaps. He nodded curtly to the timekeeper. "Begin." What happened next would be analyzed in combat classes for years to come. Vorn AK lunged forward with a speed that had dropped seasoned warriors. His clawed hand reached for Jackson's shoulder, a restraining move designed to end fights quickly without injury. Jackson wasn't there. He'd slipped left, inside Vorn AK's guard, moving with an economy of motion that seemed almost lazy. Before Vorn AK could adjust, Jackson's foot hooked behind the instructor's ankle while his palm struck Vorn AK's elbow, redirecting the larger alien's momentum. Vorn AK stumbled. Impossible. His species didn't stumble. He recovered instantly, spinning with a backhand that would have sent Jackson flying across the room. But Jackson had already dropped low, sweeping Vorn AK's supporting leg. The massive Droken shifted his weight, textbook defensive response. Jackson had anticipated it. He was already moving to Vorn AK's blind side, using the instructor's own defensive shift against him. A quick strike to the back of Vorn AK's knee, not hard, but precisely placed at the joint's weakest point. Vorn AK's leg buckled. Then Jackson did something that made every spectator inhale sharply. He jumped. Small as he was, he launched himself onto Vorn AK's back, one arm snaking around the instructor's thick neck, legs wrapping around his torso. It wasn't a choke, humans' new Droken physiology didn't allow for that. Instead, Jackson's forearm pressed against a specific cluster of nerve bundles near Vorn AK's primary breathing spiracle. Vorn AK's vision blurred. His arms wouldn't respond correctly. He spun, trying to throw the human off, but Jackson moved with him, maintaining pressure with infuriating precision. The Droken instructor dropped to one knee, then to both. His hands clawed at the arm around his neck, but his strength was draining too fast. The nerve cluster Jackson targeted controlled equilibrium and motor function, a weakness most species didn't know Drokens had. Jackson did. "Timer." Velshaw called out, her voice cutting through the stunned silence. 9 seconds. Jackson released immediately, rolling off Vorn AK's back and offering a hand to help him up. The instructor waved it away, rising slowly, his breathing heavy, his pride considerably heavier. "How?" Vorn AK demanded once he could speak clearly. "How did you know about the spherical nerve cluster?" Jackson shrugged, but there was steel in his eyes now. "I studied, sir. Spent 6 months analyzing Droken physiology, watching recordings of your previous matches, learning your patterns. Humans don't have natural armor or claws, so we adapted differently. We became persistence hunters. Patient. Analytical. We don't rely on instinct, we rely on preparation. He gestured around the training hall. Every species here is physically superior to humans in some way. Stronger, faster, tougher. So we learn to study our opponents. Find the weaknesses. Exploit them with precision instead of power. Born AK was silent for a long moment, his respect for the small human growing with each breath. You weren't trying to last 3 minutes. No, sir. Jackson's expression remained respectful but firm. I was trying to win. There's a difference. On Earth, we have a saying, it's not about the size of the dog in the fight, it's about the size of the fight in the dog. We've spent our entire history fighting creatures bigger and stronger than us. We got very good at it. The hall remained quiet. Then, slowly, Born AK began to laugh, not mockery this time, but genuine appreciation. Certified, he announced, his voice carrying across the training hall. And Cadet Miller? From now on, you're my demonstration partner. These cadets need to learn what real combat looks like, when preparation meets determination. Jackson nodded, a small smile finally breaking through. Yes, sir. Happy to help. As the other cadets filed out, buzzing with excited conversation, Delshaw approached Born AK. You let him win. No, Born AK said thoughtfully, rubbing the nerve cluster that still tingled. I lost. Fairly. And I learned something valuable today. What's that? Never underestimate a human who's had time to prepare. They'll turn your strengths into weaknesses and make it look easy. He watched Jackson leave the hall, already pulling up training footage on his datapad, already studying his next challenge. They don't fight like predators, Born AK mused. They fight like survivors. And survivors are far more dangerous.